Good morning, everybody. The military has many ways of honoring soldiers, sailors, and airmen. And perhaps one of the most well-known of all the medals that we give our people in uniform is the Medal of Honor. And it was on this date, July 12, in 1862, that Congress authorized the Medal of Honor. If you had been a soldier in the Roman legions, you might have worn a filera, pictured here, kind of like a medal. Not worn in combat, of course, but in ceremonies. In the Middle Ages, Mr. Pisano, a metal worker and designer, designed what many people think is the first military medal, pictured here, from 1438. In the early 1800s, Napoleon proposed the Legion of Honor for all ranks, one way to build esprit de corps, encourage valor on the battlefield. In 1780, Congress authorized this, the Fidelity Medallion for the 3 members of the New York State Militia who captured Major Andre, who worked with Benedict Arnold the traitor, but no more were made, all were lost, and this is a replica. In 1782, George Washington proposed a merit decoration, that's on the left. After the Revolution, it fell into disuse and was resurrected in the 1930s as the Purple Heart, which is why it has Washington's figure on it. One step below the Medal of Honor are the various crosses. So here's the Army Distinguished Service Cross from 1918. Here's the Navy Cross from 1919. So those two are associated with combat of World War I. A little bit later came the Air Force Cross, 1965. The Air Force was part of the Army during World War II, the Army Air Corps, so this cross came later, and then in 2010 was the Coast Guard Cross. So the crosses are one step below the Medal of Honor. So here are the Medals of Honor of the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, authorized by Congress on this date, July 12, 1862. The Medal of Honor for the Air Force was what it was, and then a Space Force Medal of Honor was created in 2023 to acknowledge flying in outer space. And the Coast Guard has a Medal of Honor too, only one recipient. Douglas Monroe was killed at Guadalcanal in 1942, so he's the only recipient of the Coast Guard Medal of Honor. So the Civil War is when the Medal of Honor was created. Again, on this date, July 12, 1862, authorized by Congress. And the youngest receiver of the Medal of Honor was this guy in the Civil War, Willie Johnson, 11-year-old, drummer boy from the 3rd Vermont. Around half the Medals of Honor total are from the Civil War. The first African American to receive a Medal of Honor was William Carney, who had been a slave. So from slavery to Medal of Honor winner, part of his story. Here's a Medal of Honor recipient wearing his, saluting, but superior ranks to him salute his Medal of Honor. So upper ranks salute the medal. What about those who received the Medal of Honor but were unknown? Well, that is where the Medals of Honor are for those people at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington Cemetery. Many Medals of Honor winners were killed in combat, and this is a grave of a Medal of Honor winner near Omaha Beach in France. He was killed a few days after D-Day, and that happened often. There have been a few father-son combinations. On the left are Arthur and Douglas MacArthur. On the right, Teddy Roosevelt and Teddy Roosevelt Jr. There are also 5 pairs of brothers who won the Medal of Honor. Only one woman has won the Medal of Honor, Mary Walker. She was a surgeon during the Civil War, and she received her Medal of Honor after the war, partly because she was a woman and procedures weren't clear. And this is the grave of David Casey, who's in Northbridge, Mass., about 10 miles from where I live. He won the Medal of Honor during the Civil War. A reminder that the Medal of Honor winners have come from all over the country and all walks of life.